everybody be real quiet except one voice that might be speaking. Let's pray together the Lord's Prayer, okay? Our
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Have on target today. He can come up here and sit in one of these chairs. You can stand however you want to do it. He's got a cowboy shirt on. Sit down and give us some testimony.
You got your hat on backwards.
Hello.
What's your name again?
Kenneth Wise, W-I-S-E.
What God has done in your life, either recently or across many years. Go ahead. Everybody listen.
All right. Hey, my name is Kenneth Wise. Good morning to everybody.
Praise the Lord.
I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised. Married, celebrating 24 years next month.
Right on.
You know, guess he said the key word retired, so to speak. I retired from law enforcement after doing 30 years. But the way God has swung it, because I said I'd never do it again, I'm now working law enforcement for Putnam City West because I'm more into the kids and everything. So I'm gonna talk to y'all real quick about two things: being a victim and being victorious.
Amen.
Take a trip with me back in December 13, 1970. A 5-year-old kid growing up in Chicago. Your mom put you in the back of the old school Chevy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Them old school Chevys with the AM radios. All of a sudden she drives across town. She drags her 5-year-old and 4-year-old son out, puts them on the front porch, knocks on the door, takes off. All of a sudden, you got a 5-year-old, the oldest, and a 4-year-old who's crying, wondering what's going on. There's no response from the door for about 5 minutes. Suddenly, the door opens. It's my aunt. My aunt looks at us and she said, "What are y'all doing here?" And at 5 years old, I said this word no child should ever say to somebody: "Mama don't want us anymore." This woman had a choice. Single parent. In Chicago, a lot of single parents. She was a single mother of 3 kids. Now she had a decision. Do I leave my 2 nephews out in the blizzard? This is December 13th, 1970. I still remember it. Or do I take them in? Fortunately, she takes us in.
Amen.
For the next 10 plus years, we'll be going from house to house. And this woman was more of a mom to us than our original mom. But every time my mom would come and visit us at my aunt's house, we would ask that question: "Mom, can we go with you?" No different than some of us have been asking that same question by other people who we're trying to get affirmation from. Can I go with you now? And to hear that story, no, baby, you can't. I'm not ready for you. Just to see him for a brief second and leave out of your lives, it will be another 7 years before we can see her again. By that time, my aunt couldn't afford us anymore, so we go to another house. This house was a cousin of my mom's. Very abusive. Brothers and sisters there used to beat me and my brother up like we were there. We were easy pickings. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what it's like to be a victim. Y'all know what it's like when somebody can just do something to you because you're easy pickings. So now, at that time, I'm the oldest brother and I got a little brother to protect. I had to sleep in the bed with a butcher knife underneath the pillow to keep my cousins from jumping and beating us up. And at that time, I used to hear this radio song every day by, bear with me, called Walter Hawkins. The name of the song was called Be Grateful. And I'm thinking, how can I be grateful, but you got me in this situation? I'm sleeping with a butcher knife in an abusive household, wondering, do I have to kill somebody to protect myself and my brother? Fast forward to the age when I turned 15. We finally got to stay with our mom.
Amen.
There's a flip side to it. Mom has not changed. My mom is still mom. At that time, she was very prideful, and we all know what pride does. Pride is like a tornado. Pride would tell you that you don't need help to rebuild your house. I can do it my own way. Never mind, everybody else is asking for help, but you go ahead and build your house. One day, again, wintertime. This is January. It is now 1981. the big blizzard hit.
Yeah.
We don't have like OG&E up there. We have Commonwealth Edison. Con Ed wanted to read the gas meters, people's gas, and in Chicago, the old houses had the meters in the closet. Well, hey, you don't let them in, they can't read it, but they can read it off the street. We had a cutoff notice, so we didn't let them in. So what did they do in the middle of the winter?
Turn it off.
They jacked up that cold ground and cut it off.
Oh.
Now we have no heat. Then all of a sudden, Illinois Electric came. Guess what happened less than 2 hours after that?
They turned it off.
They cut off all lights. So here we are in January in the middle of a blizzard. No gas, no lights. So now I'm calling my mom who worked for, it was Motorola at the time, then Panasonic. Y'all know they used to make them old plunger tape players back then, cassette players.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all used to be listening to cassettes.
Right,
Ain't nobody here
right.
we ain't got no babies here.
Mixed
So, so what happened was I called my mom. She wouldn't answer the phone. I told them, hey, we got an emergency here at the house. Finally she called. Mom, we got no lights, we got no gas. Okay, she hung up. 4 hours later she comes in there. Now my mom was very creative. Now if you know anything about these meter boxes, when you go back there, she would put this rock right there on the little circuit, and we have lights. But here's the deal, we have no heat. Our heat source at that time was a big rotisserie stove, electric stove. That was our bath, that was our food, that was our heat. So you're talking about from January up until April, no lights, no gas. Finally we went to a party at my aunt's house. Me and my brother was eating like we was getting out of death row. I mean, because we saw that big spread, and all we ate was bologna sandwiches for days. You know, and my mom would get tired of us complaining. She slipped us a muscle relaxant in our drinks, just so we can go to sleep, just so she didn't hear us complain. So when we went to that little soiree and everything, we were just eating, we were just going down, you think it's a comedy movie, we just eating it. Growling and stuff. My aunt watching us. She said, what is wrong with y'all? Then, you know, at first we didn't say nothing. I just told her, hey, we got no lights, we got no gas. She was like, how long this been going on? 3 months. We've been through 4 blizzards. Now, my uncle, who was a Chicago cop, found out about it. He went like, he played it off, didn't say nothing at first.
Wow.
Then one day, I still remember it. 16 cops, paddy wagons, detectives, and everybody banged on the door. My mom was home too, she wouldn't open it. My uncle did like this, open it or I'll break it down. She called his bluff. He pulled that bluff card. With a big sledgehammer, they busted through our doors, cuffed her, and they was looking at us. My uncle was like, let's go. Then she was like, y'all can't take my kids, y'all can't take my kids. Yes, we can. I was 15 at the time, brother was 14. So we stayed with my uncle for 6 months. Then I went, guess what? Went back home. I had to make a decision at that time. My mom was working 19-hour days. One time she was so frazzled, she came in our room, woke us up, made us put on our school clothes, get our backpacks, and I asked her, what are you doing? I'm getting y'all ready for school. Mom, it's Saturday morning. That was my aha moment. So at 16, I had to make an adult decision. I dropped out of high school. And the way I did it was, I call it slick, but then as I got older, I used it on the kids. I got up in the middle of math, put my books up in my backpack, and I walked out. The teacher asked this, where you going, Mr. Wise? I'm out. And Chicago, if you ever been up, most of your schools got armed guards. So as I was walking down the hallway, I seen these 2 big football-sized guards at the door that always hassled us when we coming in. But when I got to the door, I opened it, went across the street, got on the CTA bus, and I was gone. So then I had to make a decision. When I got off the bus, lo and behold, somebody got shot on the bus just as soon as I got off. So I decided, you know, this can't be my life. But then that song came on, Be Grateful. Again, 16, I'm not comprehending this. Then all of a sudden, it just dawned on me. I was walking by a recruitment office, military.
And then
I went, I said, okay, I walked in there, the guy was like, okay, what do you need? I'd like to join. How old are you? 16. You gotta be 17. He said, go get a parent. Well, For those that don't know, my mother was the secretary for the local chapter of the Black Panthers. That's not gonna happen. So guess what? I went on Skid Row, found me a hooker that was as close to motherly as I could, with $5 bus fare and the promise of a meal at Burger King. This lady actually went to the recruitment office with me and signed me in.
Wow.
She was like, she saw something in me, and I told her, it's either you sign me up, or I'm either gonna be in prison, or I'm gonna be your pimp. Which is it? In Chicago, your options are kind of limited in the West Side in the projects.
Enhanced drum.
So she did like this, okay. And when we went in there, the guy he knew that wasn't my mother. And he was like this, yeah, Miss Wise, would you like to sign your son up? Signed up, I took the test. So the thing that boggled my mind was, for the first time when I went to take the test downtown, I slept in a bed. A bed. Bed. Not on the floor, not on the mattress,
Amen.
a bed.
Amen.
A room with heat. I've actually had somebody serve me a meal. And I was like, to the point I was looking at the plate, people was looking at me. Then I thought about it. This is not growing up in the project, this is not the life I want. There's gotta be something better. So when I was in the room with the other guy, this guy lived in a rich, affluent neighborhood. He was like, I'm joining the military because, I ain't got nothing to do. Why are you joining? I'm trying to get out, man. I'm out. So to know the differences in people's lives and everything, one is doing it because it's just something for them to do. I'm doing it because my life is involved in it.
Yeah.
If I don't, I will literally die in the streets. So when your back is up against the wall and you know there's something that's coming, you're gonna make some decisions. My back is up against the wall. If I go this route, I'm gonna die. But if I take this path, I can make it. The crossroads of life. So I went in, took the test, passed it, and on that day, 1982, I was sworn in. Now here's the hard part. I got a lot of my mom because she didn't know I signed up. Also, remember, I don't have a high school diploma. But the recruiter, Wink, decided, I know a place where you can get one. In the state of Illinois, to get a high school diploma, you have to know your Constitution, your Illinois Constitution. You will not get a high school diploma without it. Fortunately, I was one of those type of guys, I like taking exams. Give me an exam, I could take it all day. So I wasn't the idiot, I wasn't bored, and I had to get out. So I took the test. It was 516 questions. I still remember it that day. It's supposed to take three and a half hours. I knocked it out in 2.
Wow.
Missed only 8.
That's good.
So I went like, okay, it's a good thing, right? All right. Now the hard part. Remember when those pages were starting to come out? Y'all know, the garage door openers? Yeah. So the recruiter was all, yeah, got me a page. Yeah, I'm cool. What is it? Yeah, you call this number, you call me at this number and then it'll show up. Okay. The day it was time for me to depart, to go into service, my mom still did not know. For 2 months, I played like I was going to school. My brother got hip to it, so I had to give him my bus fare money to shut him up. So finally on the last day, I couldn't get my mom out of the house to save my life. Usually on Friday nights, hey, she's a partying girl. Wouldn't leave. Finally, her sister called and said, hey, there's a party at such and such. Great, Mom, you should go. Why you want me out of the house? You worked hard, you tired. She finally went and she said, I will see you later. My last words to her was, goodbye. And she was like, boy, you crazy. Yes, I am. Hit that number. That guy whipped that old Dodge Dart around the corner. Everybody in the neighborhood saw me and they said, Kenny, where you going? I'm out of the hood. Bye.
Amen.
That was it. Then I slept in the bed again. Couldn't sleep. It's a bed, and it's quiet. I'm in downtown Chicago. No helicopters, no shots fired, nobody breaking in the room. I ain't got nobody climbing up the window trying to take whatever TV I got for that day. Had to get adjusted to that. Then I shipped out. Then I got on the plane. First time on the plane. Started tripping, So, took the plane, then I landed at Fort Dix, New Jersey. Now my life begins. The funny part was when I got there and they said, if you want to call home, this is the time to do it. It was 4 a.m. Had to make a decision. Do I call her? So I called her. She was like, where were you at? I'm at Fort Dix. She thought it was a club. What you doing in that club? No, I'm not in the club. I'm in the military. What do you mean you're in the military? Yeah, I joined the Army. What do you mean? I didn't sign for you. Well, yeah, you did. Not you, but you did.
You don't know
So
yet.
she found out that I got it under false pretenses and she was going to get my uncle to get me out of there. And he was like, and he talked to me, he said, do you want to do this? It's either do this or you're going to have to put the cuffs on me or you're going to have to kill me. Because that's the only path, that's the only thing that Chicago streets are looking for. That's why that movie The Beast came out. All that street is looking for is numbers. All these streets are looking for are numbers. That's all it's considered as. Your numbers. You're not even considered human once you hit the streets. Chicago's no different. Once I hit the streets, all it's looking for is I need this victim right here. I can either be the beast victim dead on the streets or I can be in the prison system. That's it. That's all the beast is caring about, another victim. So not to become that victim of the beast, I joined the military. And then I joined, did 7 years, and at the time when I got out, I worked at Joliet Prisons when I got out in '89. Moved here in '94. I thought God wanted me to go to Los Angeles because I was hyped when I got out of prison. Nope, Chickasha, Oklahoma. My brother, well, because my brother was going to school. My story with my brother is he wanted to go to college. I did 4 years in the Army. I was 60 days out when he called. He said he wanted to go to college. There's a school called USAO down in Chickasha. And I was at Fort Riley, Kansas at the time. And I said, are you serious about this? Yeah. So I went to the recruiter, re-enlisted, took the enlistment bonus, and paid his way for college.
Amen.
And I told him, you better finish up. And he did. Graduated, became principal up until his death and everything down in Texas, down in Lancaster, Texas. He did 15 years. So the part of it was that I told my brother before he passed, we were once victims. But God made us victorious.
Amen.
Right,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even through all the midst of everything and whatnot, even all the bad tidings and roads, because in life we all gonna go through it. The one thing we all have in common is we all have our shared problems. That's common. There's none you can't sidetrack that or sugarcoat it either way. But God has put me in a position where I could be bitter with my mom. But here's the deal. When she was diagnosed terminally ill with cancer 4 years ago, because he was talking about losing a mom, I'm coming up on 4 years on mine, and no, I did not touch alcohol or anything, even though I wanted to, but I didn't. You know, so she wanted to live with me, and I thought about it. All the hell you have brought onto us growing up, the times you mistreated us, the time you left us abandoned, the time you never were there for us, now you want your son to take care of you. And at the end, I could have been bitter about it. I could have. But there's a saying in the Bible about honoring your parents.
Yeah.
Honor your mother and father.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I took her in up until the point I couldn't take care of her,
That was nice.
and I had to put her in a home. So even though this woman mistreated both of us, I felt bad about putting her in the home. I wanted to take care of her. That was my mom. I was responsible for her. So on September 15, 2015, she went on her last dying breath. This woman would never acknowledge God for anything. In her mind, that was a mythical creature. But this one song that she wanted to hear every day while we wasn't at the house was Be Grateful. Walter Hawkins, that was the song she wanted to hear before she passed. So this woman who by and large didn't have a right frame of mind because she was dying, that's what I played. And I said, you know, Mom, you caused us problems. You caused us hell. You wasn't hardly there for us. And if anybody want to ask about my dad lived down the street from my aunt, as did my cousin's dad. They never came and saw us. Never. Up to the point when my dad passed in 2007, he never contacted us. Never. Even when my brother passed, he never came to the funeral. Could that have made me bitter?
Yes.
But I didn't. I left the door open for him up until the day he passed because I didn't want to be that way. Now, dealing with those type of events, a bad parent, guess what they made me? A better parent.
Right.
Because when I had my son, I was there for him.
Mm-hmm.
He made me a better husband because I'm with my wife.
Right.
I didn't call it quits when things got bad.
Right.
And I didn't call it quits when it was getting funky. I didn't want to. If I believe in like this, if it's worth something, you're going to fight heaven and earth to do it. But if you don't, you're going to fight like hell to get away from it.
Right.
Be the type of person where people will move heaven and earth for you, but don't be that type of person where they got to fight like hell to get away from you. He made a good point. If you're true to the game, people will move heaven and earth to get you where you need to go. They will help you. They'll do anything for you. But if you not, if you go that path, like he said, they're going to fight like hell to get you out of there. Because there's people that's waiting to get in there.
Right.
Remember, numbers. And I'm telling you, if God can pull this kid, this dropout from Chicago, from the projects, to move them into places and to deal with people in all types of events, even in this racial climate. And remember, I'm in law enforcement, and the biggest thing they talk about in the climate is law enforcement.
Yeah.
But I worked in Grady County.
Wow.
I was the only black deputy they had, and I worked there for 20-something years.
Right on.
See what I'm saying? If I can step into that, because I believed in it, it's like this. I was getting too comfortable working on the east side.
Right.
See what I'm saying? He took me out of that. Now you're getting a little bit too comfortable, little boy. We need to put you somewhere else. How I'm gonna spread the gospel when it's easy? The purpose of the gospel is when it's not when you're supposed to go into the most hardened areas. You're supposed to go into it when people don't want you, when they're not receptive. They're supposed to. You're supposed to be that type of person where it's like, I can't stand you, but there's something about you.
Right.
When I stepped in that Grady County and everything, that scratch sound on that record was loud. But when they saw me on patrol and dealing with people of all races, they were like, something about it. I don't like you, but there's something about you. And when people asked me to pray for them, even though I wrote them tickets, I took them to jail. Grady County actually made me their police chaplain. And I got ordained, I got licensed or ordained, did it for years. And I told them, my last day was, you can be bitter or you can get better. You can be a victim or you can be victorious.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, this is a day-by-day, step-by-step process. I'm not there yet. But each day that I'm up and I lay my head down, I'm victorious.
Right.
I made it. He saw to it. I don't have to complain about nothing because he brought me through it. Other people did not. So when you look up, when you get up this morning and you see the sunrise, you're victorious.
Thank God.
Because you know some people that didn't do it this morning.
Right.
You got a place to lay your head. It ain't Nichols Hill, but you got a place to lay your head.
Amen.
You got something to eat. Granted, it is not Applebee's, but it's something for you to eat.
Right.
There's some people we know that's not even eating. Those of you that complaining that you got your aches and pains in life, that's people that can't walk.
Right.
I wear glasses. There's people that can't see. I got arthritis in my fingers. There's people that ain't got hands and arms. Like the old song said, be grateful because there's someone else that's worse off than you.
Always.
Be grateful
Yep.
because there's someone else that would love to be in your shoes.
Yep.
So just because you sitting here, remember, there's plenty that can sit here. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Be grateful for each day that you are here. Be grateful that you still have a purpose in life. Because if I went by the way of the beast, I would have done off myself all the time and said that was it. Obviously, you didn't think that way neither because you wouldn't be here. If you thought that way, that's telling yourself, I quit. I'm telling you, don't. Dig deep in yourself. Know there's a warfare going. It's a battle. Two entities want your soul. One good, one evil. Somebody's got to win. I would rather be on the right side than that side.
Yes. Yes.
Do it the right way. If you do something, what does my grandma used to say? If you mess up, fess up.
Amen.
I can always say I'm sorry. And with Christians, those are the things we can't always say is, I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? How can I make this right? Can we start over? And I love you.
Yes.
That's Christians, and we are too scared to say that because that would mean we have flaws. And I don't want y'all to see me as that. I want y'all to know that I'm transparent.
Yeah.
My transparency, talking today to you guys, is supposed to transform you.
Amen.
Your transparency is supposed to transform somebody.
Right.
Your information is supposed to inspire somebody.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody's got a testimony to tell every day.
Yes.
For you to just sit in the corner and not say nothing, You deny somebody else their testimony. You can't tell anybody nothing if you keep your mouth shut.
Amen.
A closed mouth don't get fed. Period. Never have, never will. So dig down deep in yourself. Do what you got to do to get it right. If you got to pray every day and stuff, that's great. Pray unceasingly. Do it every day. I do. I do it every day. And I'll tell you, Brother Bonds ain't perfect. And only plus or minus a bad turn, I could be sitting in that seat too. You see what I'm saying? Plus or minus a bad turn, I could be over at County. Plus or minus a bad turn, Northeast 8th and Lottie. That's the morgue. You see what I'm saying? Every day we got a chance. I'm taking my chances. When Ryan asked me to come here and everything, we talked about it. And the first thing I told him was, I don't think I have a story to tell.
Yes, you do. Yes.
And me and him discussed that all day. I said, man, they don't want to hear my story. What can I tell you? Yo, what is the old song? You've been there and done that. So what can I tell you? What? Don't do alcohol? You know, what can I tell you about that? All I can tell you is that in the midst of this war and everything, they brought me up from the trenches. God has been good to me. And I really richly don't deserve it. I don't deserve his goodness. But thankfully for his grace and his mercy, I get to see another day and I get to tell people my story.
Amen.
And I get to tell it with the passion and everything that each and every one of y'all should be telling to everybody else. Tell it with passion. When you're passionate about something, you want to see people feel it. You got to make them feel it. And I want you to feel what it was like for me growing up when mom and them was gone. But we didn't blame, we didn't go bitter. We could have. My brother went to college and graduated and was a productive member of society. To show you how crazy it was, he was dating my wife's sister first. They hooked us up. We got married first and then they got married. Up until my brother's death, he would have been married the same time I was married. So another myth is shot. Yes, we do stick with our family. Yes, we do go to church. Yes, we are pillars and we do deal with the community. Yes, we are godly men. Yes, we do deal with our kids. But if you deal with the media right now, they consider you the dregs of society. And I don't look at you that way. I don't. I look at everybody here as this: the next potential writer, the next potential counselor, next potential media person. Media does not have to be KOCO. Not in this day and age, not as long as we got these phones. Y'all got stories to tell about the neighborhood, about your lives. Y'all don't be the victim. Tell them this is what God is doing for you. If he didn't, y'all wouldn't be here.
Amen.
You get what I'm saying?
Amen.
I'm doing it, I'm saying this out of love because like I say, I love each and every one of you and I've just met you. Don't be a victim. You're already victorious, but y'all gotta claim that trophy. That's y'all. Claim the trophy. Claim it. Claim it. Let those that want to help you help you. Claim that trophy each and every day. That's another trophy. Next day, another trophy. Next day, another trophy. Next day, another trophy. Each time you beat the beast, that's a trophy.
Amen.
Each time you beat it. Every new day. Because I got to fight it every day. Just because I ain't drinking or doing any substance abuse, that does not mean I have to fight it as some sort of addiction of some sort. Every day. The only difference between y'all and us, we can hide it. We can hide our addiction. You don't know what I'm addicted to, but I can see what you guys are. But if I step out there and everything, trust me, we do. And lastly, fall back in love with yourself. Fall back in love with yourself. Yes, I understand. You did. Fall back in love with you. If God can use this man who's telling you that he loves you, love yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I love me. It's okay to say that. It's okay to do this. I made it another day. It's okay to lay your head down and let tears roll and say thank you. I do. It's okay to walk and breathe that air and say, you know what? I'm alive. I made it. It's okay to love myself. It's okay not to be arrogant, but to love yourself. Because you now know what's ahead of you. Now you know when you leave here today, you got something going for you. Now you know this brother's got his straight, this sister's got it. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to be victorious. Because Christ has died on the cross for me, and not only died, he rose up with all power. And that's the way we have to start thinking. I love you all. Thank you for your time.
Well, in my opinion, that was amazing.
Yeah.
The man's a fighter, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Amen.
And it was the trials and the hurt and the pain that developed his character. He learned how to survive in very tough circumstances. And he keeps fighting that good fight. Thank you, God, for a good meeting today. Make us stronger and stronger and stronger. Help us to see more miracles and more wonderful things happening in our lives. Amen.